What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is Guys at Magic. I'm going to be your host, Riley, for this video. Joining me today, we've got Shane. Shane, say what's up?
What's up, nerds?
So, if you haven't already, this is going to be a $300 upgrade for our Scions and Spellcraft. But as I was going to mention, if you haven't already, go ahead and check down on that description. We've got the list for the $100 upgrade as well. But we've thrown $300 now, so a little bit more of a big boy version of this. We've thrown $300 into this commander. Tell me a little bit about this.
We're still playing with the Ashtola, the Knight's Blessed. She costs 1, a white, a blue, and a black for a 2/4 cat warlock. Got vigilance, and it says at the beginning of each unstep, if a player lost 4 or more life this turn, you draw a card. It also says whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, the Ashtola deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. Name of the game here. Cast some medium-sized spells, board drain, you gain. It's going to be fantastic. I had a lot of fun with 100. And we're going to make the 300 just a little bit more spicy.
Yeah, she seems like just a really good value engine, so I'm super excited to see how you've added some extra fangs to this.
Definitely.
Before we talk about any of the new additions, though, we just want to take a quick moment to have a word from our sponsor.
Today's video is sponsored by Evoke the Art and their new Gradient Craft token series. This token set features 50 high-quality tokens in some stunning gradient art style, featuring some original art, free of any AI-generated designs, ensuring authentic and unique visuals, designed for players who appreciate both function and aesthetics. These will bring a vibrant and distinct look to your battlefield. Head over to zaximusstudios.etsy.com for more information on picking up these and more tokens. The link will be in the description. We got a special gift for all of our Guys That Magic fans. Use the code WhatsUpNerds at checkout to get 10% off your order and get this awesome Guys That Magic treasure token. Huge thanks to all of our friends over at Evoke the Art. Now let's get back to the video.
As we mentioned before, this is a continuation. We have already done a $100 upgrade to this deck. Shane, has there been any changes regarding the cards you already put in, or is this going to continue over from what you had already built, or tell me about this?
We're definitely just keeping everything we added in 100, bringing it straight over. So it's basically just a continuation like you said.
All right, perfect. Well, tell me about some of the new creatures that you've thrown in.
All right, like I said, we're making it a little more spicy. We got a bigger budget. We got some bigger creatures. First one I'm throwing in is Roaming Throne. 4 mana for a Golem, 4/4. It has Ward 2, and it says when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Roaming Throne is the chosen type among other types. It also says if a triggered ability of another creature you control of the chosen type triggers, it triggers an additional time. All we're really saying here is cat or warlock, doesn't really matter. We just want Y'shtola to trigger twice now, because she does care about dealing 4. If we can get that off one spell, that'd be fantastic. Almost throwing in Veto, Thorn of the Dusk Rose. 2 and a black for a 1/3 Vampire Cleric. Because whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. I can also pay 3 and 2 black. Creatures you control gain lifelink till end of turn. The top part is very relevant because I want to start dealing even more damage. 2 is good, 4 is greater. And then that bottom part, getting everything with lifelink, really good because you are going to be at target at the table.
Yeah, this helps to pad your life totals as well as close out the game a little bit faster for you, so I like this addition quite a bit. I do see one more creature. What is this?
This one is just making sure that the spells you're casting can't get interacted with. So Voice of Victory is going in, 1 and a white for a 1/3 Human Bard. It's got Mobilize 2, and it also says your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Really good, really straightforward. All the stuff that I want to be casting on my turn, the trigger, my commander, now can't be interacted with. Granted, you can still board wipe and kill me on your turn, but my turn's now safe.
Yeah, that is true. This means no counter spells, so that allows you to force your stuff through. Looking over some of these other cards, this next group, it looks like we've got a lot of instants and sorceries, but I'm noticing one that kind of stands out a little bit. Talk to me about this oddball and your reasoning for including it.
It's a bit of an oddball, but a bit of a not. It's Praetor's Grasp. It's 1 and 2 black for a sorcery. Search target opponent's library for a card and exile it face down. Then that player shuffles his or her library. You may look at that and play that card as long as it remains in exile. All this is basically saying is, you want a Soul Ring? Go get a Soul Ring. It also triggers your Stola. But, in the case that you're at a table and you might notice that somebody's doing some kind of combo-y shenanigans or something that's really important to their deck, cast this, go get it, make sure they never can do it, make them sad. I think it's very flexible.
Yeah, this is a card that tends to pop up at a bit more of a higher level table, so that you can, in most cases, shut down your opponent's combos. But I also like how it synergizes with the commander here, being able to trigger her and then being able to hurt your opponents. So that's kind of like some extra nice icing on the cake.
Yeah, I think it's got a couple of functions.
And then I see a couple more instants here. Talk to me about some of these spells.
I'm a big fan of free spells, especially when their CMC's above 3. So Deadly Rollic's going in for 3 and a black. It's an instant. If you control your commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Exile target creature. Again, really good because it's going to be 3 or above, trigger my commander, and potentially be free. Well, hopefully be free because I'm playing it with my commander. That's really good. I love it. Big fan. The second one is also going to be similar to that, so I'm going to throw that out there. Flawless Maneuver, another free spell if my commander's on the field. 2 and a white, instant. If you control your commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. Both ways of just casting things for free, getting a free proc on my commander, and then that last one just protecting my commander too. Really good options for the deck.
Yeah, talking about protection, you've got 2 more here that look really nasty as far as the protection package goes. What are these?
Yeah, so playing the 100, it kind of played the way I thought it would. You become the threat very quickly. Your life total gets very high. Everyone else gets pretty low. So people are going to attack you. I'm throwing in probably one of my favorite cards in this color combination, Ink Shield. 3 and a white and a black for an instant. It says prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this turn. For each 1 damage prevented this way, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature with flying. Yeah, so you're going to get swung on for a million. You're going to hold up 5. You're going to play this, and then you're going to win the game. It's a really good card.
The number of times that I have lost a game to an opponent who literally had nothing in play because of Ink Shield is absolutely infuriating. If your opponent has 5 mana up and they are in these colors, you have to keep in mind you can't just full swing at them. You have to kind of cheap them away. Otherwise, Ink Shield just turns the game completely on its head.
Yeah, I mean, it does trigger my commander too. That's relevant, but I don't really think I care if it triggers my commander because I'm probably just going to win the next time I untap. So, good card, good.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say you don't have Ink Shield in your hand. You're going to keep getting swung on. The Fairy's Protection is going to be in my deck because I want to be protected. But for 2 and a white, it's an instant. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, exile to Fairy's Protection. Sure, you've seen it a million times, but you're going to be getting swung on. I keep saying that I'm a broken record. This deck will get you swung on, so you want to make sure you can protect yourself.
Yeah, we have a single artifact in here. I know that you're going to be gaining a bunch of life, but that doesn't actually win you a game. So how are you going to capitalize on that?
That's a great segue. Great segue. Aetherflux Reservoir. That's how it's going to help you win. For 4 generic mana, it is an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. You can pay 50 life. Aetherflux Reservoir deals 50 damage to target creature or player. This deck, just playing the 100 version of it, was not uncommon for me to be well above 50. I don't know if you remember this, but like I was sitting above 50 for a long time, and that was without this card in on the play. So if I could start gaining life for everything I'm playing, you could just nuke someone real quick.
Yeah, I added a play that this can also be activated at instant speed. Aetherflux Reservoir, as soon as you get above 50 life, it becomes kind of like a policing tool where you can kind of play the game of like, hey, if you swing at me, I'm just going to instant speed take you out of the game. So do you really want to do that?
Yeah. Granted, you're going to be hurting yourself for 50, but you should have enough life gain in this deck to add that a bit.
And then probably my favorite enchantment within the last couple of years. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, I think it's a spicy one, fresh off of the whatever you want to call that game changer list. Trouble in Pairs. 2 and 2 white for an enchantment. If an opponent would begin to take an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Whenever an opponent attacks you with 2 or more creatures, draws their second card each turn, or casts their second spell each turn, you draw a card. So the top part's cute. Take an extra turn, can't do it. But that bottom part is basically saying, whenever everyone at the table is playing Magic, you draw a card. And it's very good.
Oh, this card is an all-star all the way around. I love this thing. It draws an immense amount of cards just because of how frequently this thing triggers. And then also that skipping an extra turn thing is kind of sneaky good. I have actually had Trouble in Pairs a couple of times in play, just playing Magic in general, where somebody has tried to take an extra turn and I just get to sit back and smile because then they realize it doesn't do that.
Nope. And like I kept saying over and over again, you're going to be probably getting swung on, so it won't be uncommon for them to attack you with 2 or more creatures. Draw a card, that's an easy one. All these modes are very easy to hit on this card.
Oh, yeah. And then I know that I was like screaming in agony whenever I looked over the mana base for the Precon that I had upgraded. I'm assuming that you were doing the same based off of these final inclusions. Talk to me about these lands.
Yes, I agree. Out of the box, not the best land base. The 100, I put all the bond lands in, made it a little faster, a little better. With a bigger budget, I have more budget. I'm throwing in the shock lands. So Godless Shrine, Hollowed Fountain, and Watery Grave. They're all going to go into my build. They all come in tapped unless you pay 2 life, which is whatever. And then they tap for their respective colors. So Godless Shrine, white and a black. Colored Fountain, white and a blue. Watery Grave, blue and a black. Just like the bond lands, if I have these anywhere in my house or anywhere, I'm putting them in all of my upgrades. I like them that much.
Yeah, I mean, just fantastic lands all in general. I would say that that was probably my biggest piece of criticism for Wizards of the Coast. These precons are a bit more expensive than what we would typically find, and I felt like the mana base was very much so lacking for that. So happy to see that you've improved it.
I would agree.
Now, as we mentioned that this was an upgrade, we just added in a couple of cards. With that being said, we have to cut cards from this. Before I talk about any of those, though, just want to clarify real quick, Shane, since this is once again going to be an upgrade on that $100 version, any of the cuts that you made from there, are they staying out of the deck? Any of the cards coming back? Talk to me.
I liked all those cuts in the 100. I'm pulling them over to the 300. So everything you saw that getting cut in that video, still being cut here. But we're going to add to that now.
All right, so it looks like for the most part, you kind of did a lot of one-for-one trades. I see that you added in 3 creatures, and it looks like you're removing 3 as well. Talk to me about these cards.
Yeah, so sadly we had to make some cuts out of here. I keep saying this on all the videos I'm doing, but if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, please don't take these decks apart. We're only doing this because I wanted to add new cards to it. So again, I completely understand that if you love this deck out of the box, leave it. But I had to make room for some stuff. So the first thing I'm cutting, and probably going forward, I'm going to butcher names by the way, but I'm going to call this guy Fan Daniel. It's 4 and a black for a 4/5 Elder Wizard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Surveil 1. At the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent may sacrifice a non-token creature of their choice. Each opponent who doesn't loses 2 life for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. I think it's a bit heavy, and I wanted to cut that mana curve down a little bit. I do like the ability. I do like all this stuff on it. I think this card would sit in my hand for too long, and I don't know. I couldn't get it going.
Yeah, I have worries about that as well. I do agree with you. I think this is a really cool card, just maybe not in this deck. How about the next one?
It's a cute one. I'm going to be cutting Tataru Taru. 1 and a white for a 0/3 Dwarf Advisor. It says when it enters, you draw a card, and target opponent may draw a card. And then it also says whenever an opponent draws a card, if it isn't the player's turn, create a tapped treasure token. This ability triggers only once each turn. Cool card. I think if I'm playing Group Hug, it'll stay in, but we're not. And I don't really want to help my opponents. I get that, going forward, it'll be anytime they draw a card. But when it's not their turn, I don't know. It seemed a little, specific, and it's only once each turn, and it's tapped. Too many things that are bad, so I got it out.
I get that. This card I think reads really, really good, but yeah, those stipulations on this and the limiters that are put in place as well. I mean, the card is adorable, so it does have that going for it.
Very much so.
All right, last creature that we're going to be cutting.
I'm cutting Thancred Waters, 4 and a white for a 3/5 human warrior. They have flash, and it says when he enters, another target legendary permanent you control gains indestructible for as long as you control this guy. It also says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Thancred Waters gains indestructible till end of turn. Cool ability. It's kind of heavy to be a flash keeper-upper. I get that it'll protect my commander. I just think that I don't need it honestly that much. If it's going to die, it's going to die. I don't need to hold up 5 for it.
Yeah, I love these kinds of effects, but coming in with 5 mana, that is an immense amount to just hold up. So I'm not the biggest fan of it being that expensive. I completely agree with why it is that you cut this. Talking about cutting cards, we have a sorcery that's going to get cut.
Yeah, cut a deal. Is getting cut out because I don't want to help my opponents. 2 and a white for a sorcery. Each opponent draws a card. Then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. I get that you're paying 3 for 3 cards. That's a good rate, but then I'm also helping all of my opponents get a card. And once again, if I'm playing Group Hug, totally staying in the deck. If I'm playing Miss Bumbleflower, this card would be amazing. But we're not, so I'm cutting it.
Yeah, don't give your opponent's card advantage. It's never fun.
No.
All right, a single instant here.
Yeah, it's a big one. Steven would be upset with me. But Sublime Epiphany, I'm taking it out of my build. 4 and 2 blue for an instant. Choose 1 or more. Counter target spell. Counter target activated ability or triggered ability. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Create a token that's a copy of target creature you control. And or target player draws a card. That's a lot of mana to hold up. I get that it does a lot of stuff because you're probably trying to pick as many as you can there. But I don't know. I don't like it. This card sat in my hand for so long whenever I play it. I literally drew it in our gameplay, and I don't think I had any opportunity to ever play it. So, it's a dead card, in my opinion.
Yeah, 6 mana is a huge investment, and if you don't have something to respond to, so if you're not actually countering some like one of your opponent's spells, is this good enough? Probably not. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it.
all right, a couple of artifacts are going to be getting removed here.
Yep, the first one, I kind of like it, but it's a little slow in my opinion. I'm cutting Archaeomancer's Map. It is 2 and a white for an artifact. When this artifact enters, search your library for up to 2 basic plains cards, reveal them, put them on your hand, then shuffle. Whenever a land an opponent controls enters, if that player controls more lands than you, you may put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. I do like this ability. I do like this card. Little slow, but not too bad. I just don't think I had any mana problem, honestly. I get that this card will ramp you a bit. I just don't think I need it anymore, honestly, in this build. The mana, or the artifacts in this, out of the box, nuts. I think there was every mana rock under the sun in this deck. I don't think I need this.
Yeah, it seems like this deck came with a lot of the like traditional white catch-up cards, this being one of them, so I see why it was removed.
Yep. I'm cutting a new equipment card, just one of them. But the blue Mage's Cane, 2 in a blue for artifact equipment. Got job select. So when it enters, you make that 1/1, then you attach this to it. Equipped creature gets +0/+2 and is a wizard in addition to its other types. It has, whenever this creature attacks, exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from the defending player's graveyard. If you do, copy it. You may cast the copy by paying 3 rather than paying its mana cost. Equip cost of 2. A lot going on there, but basically, when you attack, you get to get something from your opponent, cast it for a little cheaper, hopefully. But again, it's like assuming that you're attacking someone that has something to get there, and I think there's just a lot of stipulations still to get through, and I get that it's going to be that 3, so it will trigger commander, but I ultimately don't think I need it right now, so I'm cutting it.
Yeah, too bad. I love the artwork on this
I
card.
do too, yeah, it's really cool.
All right, we have another card. Tell me about this artifact.
Well, this artifact is probably your favorite artifact because if I know anything about you, you love 3 mana rocks, so you really love 4 mana rocks. So white Auracite is getting the cut. 2 and 2 white for an artifact. When this artifact enters, exile a target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. Then you can tap it for a white. That kind of weird, like semi-removal, not that good in my opinion, unless you're removing like a token.
Yeah, we are combining the like Fiend Hunter strategy or style of cards with a mana rock, and like what you mentioned, I don't like 3 mana rocks. I really don't like 4 mana rocks.
Yeah,
No, you
it's
can't convince me to play this card.
it's a common, Hey, we're gonna cut it to make room for something cooler.
All right, so we have 2 enchantments that are going to be removed.
Yep, I'm not the biggest fan of these. I get why they're in the deck, but I'm gonna ultimately cut them. I'm cutting Eye of Nidhogg. It is 2 and a black. It's a legendary enchantment aura. It says enchant creature. It says enchanted creature is a black dragon with base power and toughness 4/2, has flying and death touch, and is goaded. And it also says when this card is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. It's a cute little ability. You can keep casting it over and over. Put it on your opponent's stuff. Like I get what the card does. I get that it's 4. Like it's gonna do the things your card wants to do. I just don't like it. I don't know why. It's just a little slow in my opinion. And it's an aura. I don't know. I wanted to be casting other spells. I want to make room for some stuff, so I'm sadly cutting it.
No, I totally get that. I feel like this is actually like a perfect inclusion for something like, oh my goodness, what is that queen that you play?
Yet.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I was trying to think
Yeah, I
of.
would agree.
The final enchantment is
It is Observed Stasis. 3 and a blue for an enchantment aura. Got flash. It says enchant creature and opponent controls. When this aura enters, remove enchanted creature from combat, then draw a card for each tapped creature its controller controls. Enchanted creature loses all abilities and can't attack or block. A cool little way to draw some cards. I have been saying this whole entire time that people will swing on you. I get all that. It's again, I think it's just the fact that it's like I want to be not holding up so much stuff. Again, 4 is not the biggest to hold up. I understand that. But this deck really felt like I wanted to be casting stuff on my turn a little bit more. I guess it could be anyone's turn, but I don't know. I just felt that it was a little heavy for what it did, and I didn't really need it anymore.
yeah, it's kind of an interesting take on something like a dress down,
Yeah.
but being more expensive. I totally agree with you. This finds itself in that awkward, like I need to keep mana up. Am I really going to be playing around with that kind of deck? I don't think that you want to here.
Yeah.
And then lastly, we're moving on to the mana base. We touched up a little bit of it earlier, fixed some of it. And I'm looking at some of the cards here that you have removed. I don't think they need any justification as to why you got rid of them, but talk to me about these cards.
They're all the cards that have the basic land types on them. So let me just say the names, I guess. Contaminated Aquifer, Idyllic Beachfront, and Sunlit Marsh. They're basically all the shock lands, but they come in always tapped. So they have the respective base land, which is cool. Island Swamp, Plains Island, Plains Swamp, all that good stuff. But these are just slow. They're Precon edition. I don't know. They're just nowhere near as good.
They're really not. I don't like these lands either. All right, with that though, Shane, is that going to do it? Is that going to be the $300 version?
That's it. That's all of it. I'm done.
All right. Now, we did have some of the individual card prices here on the screens as we went through this, but for those of you who did not do all the math, Shane, how much did this come up to?
Well, prices are all over the place right now, and at the time of recording, if you take my 100 and you now take these additions, you're going to be looking at $299.
Kind of pretty close there, but it sounds like you were right on the money.
Right there, right on the edge. And like I said, this could be cheaper soon. This could be more expensive soon. I didn't add too many new cards, so hopefully this comes down a bit.
Yeah, I could see some of that. Just real quick before we wrap up this video, any final closing thoughts on your Stola, the $300 version, or anything else that you would like to just share with our audience?
I think the Stola is great. You mentioned it earlier, but I think she plays a little similar to Iriette, the whole board drain, you gain. I had a blast playing the 100. I do think that this card is going to be susceptible to just getting a lot of hate because you're going to be doing things to not one or two, but most likely 3 people. And when you piss off the entire board, they tend to all kind of look at you. So just keep that in mind and be careful.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do think she's a really cool card. I'm excited to be able to play around with her. I have not actually played with her yet myself, but yeah, this will be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah.
If you haven't done so already, make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. Down in the description, you'll find the link to the Mox Field, as well as a link to all of our socials if you want to reach out to us for any reason. On the screen right now are our Patreon members. If you want to check out what they get to see, which is some early access content, as well as some locked away content over on Patreon, you can check the link down in the description below. And a special shout out to those members of our Indestructible tier. Starting with Aaron Hill,
Aaron Martin,
Brian Ganella,
Daryl Tripp,
Demarion Turner,
Doc Jerome,
Jimmy Ward,
Kevo,
Larry Killian,
Thrifty, PSGR,
and William Colombo. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the love and support. And until the next video, peace.
Bye-bye.